Anthem on the track. Live from the land of snakes. With the same nigga playing your weight. Wanna give your hands a shake. Bitch, we got bands to make, rubber bands to break. Guns and butter, that land on lake. Got bread, got plans to break the Brooklyn way. When Tony killed Manolo, had to look away. It's a war going on, starting to look like yay. Apparel worn is battle torn, thou shalt not kill. When diamonds is dancing, spending time in the Hamptons.
Peace, family. Welcome to another episode of Underground Railroad Productions, UGR TV. It's your host, Brother Rich, and as you can see, I'm joined by Blue Pill. You know what I'm saying? Got that gear on. I see we walking down the block. People asking him where he got it from. He got to tell them I make it. Then they start looking at him like he kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Because they think you're supposed to buy everything in the store. Meanwhile, they don't know that there's this new generation of entrepreneurs being bred that, you know, we doing it ourselves. So, you know, got to salute the God for that. And everybody out there trying to get it. Or getting it. Not trying, but definitely getting it. Salute to y'all. But on to the show, y'all. Wanted to talk about the brother Phife Dawg that passed away from A Tribe Called Quest. As you can see, we in front of this Zulu Nation. This graffiti piece right here at the National Black Theater. The brother was a part. Yeah, the brother was a part of the Zulu Nation, so it was only appropriate to do this video here. But I want to talk to Blue Pill because his family's into health. As you know, KT, the arch degree, Mama Pill, Red, Blue got the CMOS. Blue got, you know, say the CMOS and other things. So I want to talk about the health. Because, you know, a lot of us, we in this hip-hop culture, and it seems as though a lot of the brothers from hip-hop are dying from health complications. So what is it, what's the connection between the hip-hop lifestyle and health? Because obviously there needs to be some changes need to be made. We had Heavy D, Nate Dogg, Guru, DJ Easy Rock, Sean Price. These are some people that passed away. We had Lil Wayne with some health complications. Rick Ross with some health complications with the seizures. So it's like, you know, I want to, you know, we all got to influence each other to live a better, healthier lifestyle. And I'm happy people out there such as DJ Khaled is making an attempt to promote veganism, and others as well promote a more, you know, Styles from the Locks. Yeah, Styles from the Locks with the juice bars. Because, you know, it's about that time that we change our lifestyle. But talk to me, Blue. Talk to me about this hip-hop lifestyle, health, and the fact that all these brothers is dying at a young age of 40-something.
Well, hip-hop, first and foremost, let me begin. Rest in peace to our brother Phife Dawg, you know what I'm saying? My name is Phife Dawg from the Zulu Nation, so of course, like the brother said, we had to pay homage, you know, in front of the Zulu for our brother Phife Dawg. This is a brother that we grew up off of, you know what I mean? We grew up off of his lyricism. He was a everyday's people type of rapper, you know what I mean? So he will be greatly missed, all right, for his contributions into the genre. But hip-hop, in essence, is a microcosm of the macrocosm, and in this particular instance, the macrocosm that we're a part of is street culture, you know what I'm saying? It's street life. So in street life, we were told that you're not gonna live to see 21. And if you live to see 25, there's something special about you, all right? And we lived according to that particular mantra, you know what I'm saying? We lived a fast life. We lived a reckless lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? We hold no bars when it came to the pleasures of the everyday experience because we were living like fireflies, right? Quick burnout. We got to get this thing quick, you know what I'm saying? Because it's not promised tomorrow. There are no promises. Tomorrow's definitely not promised. So there was a particular way that we approach this particular lifestyle. And of course, even after the era of the golden era of Tribe Called Quest's era, things of that nature, when it became more materialistic and commercialized, then, you know, in hip-hop specifically was living in the clubs. Early 80s, it lived in the club scene, and it was surrounded by champagne and cocaine and what have you. But now fast forward, now you got wools, now you got Molly, or you got ecstasy earlier, and you know what I mean, in the early 90s or mid 90s, what have you. And you had the blunts, okay, that became a staple in hip hop. 40 ounces, all sorts of liquors and alcohols and things of that nature. And it was a convergence where, you know, everything just became about that particular lifestyle. So collectively, if we're talking about hip hop representing a body of people, the liver of that body was swimming in alcohol. The liver of that body was also dealing with, or the kidneys and everything else was dealing with metabolizing all of the heavy sugars. You know what I'm saying? This is at the same time that the hoods were inundated not only with crack cocaine, but all of the sugary foods. You know what I'm saying? The Frosted Flakes and, you know, and just the quarter waters and the candies, the convenience stores. You could go on every corner and find all of these sugary foods. And we were participating in it. And we were promoting it. You know what I'm saying? And we were putting these things in our music, in our videos, and it was just part of who and what we were. But little did we know that these would be extreme debilitating factors that would catch up to us in our adulthood, because we were not thinking about being adults. That was not being promoted to us. All right? There's something about hip hop that made you feel immortal. Even if you're told that you're not going to live to see 21 or 25. You know what I'm saying? There's still something about that dynamic of being on that stage and getting that level of applause, you know what I'm saying, and getting that level of global regard for your person when a few years ago you was in school and your teacher was telling you, look, nigga, you ain't shit, and you ain't gonna be shit, and your mama ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, you got 15,000 people in the stadium singing your rhymes. You traveling the world for something that you were scribbling on a notebook. You know what I'm saying? So these things changed who and what we were, but the education wasn't necessarily there to say, look, you know, let's go vegan. Sabi was out at the time, but people wasn't into Sabi, so they didn't catch on. You know what I mean? And the lifestyle was reckless. So if you was going to be drinking Kool-Aid on a 5-cent budget, now that you got $50, chances are you was going to be drinking you a little bit more Kool-Aid. And you're probably going to miss some Cisco in it. You know what I'm saying? So there was a lot of things that were taking place that didn't have the proper balance or the proper nurturing, all right? Hip-hop is pretty much so much youthful that there's no parentage involved. So if your parents leave you alone, you know what I'm saying? If you home alone for 6 months and all you got is Frosted Flakes and Kool-Aid and what have you, you're going to go ape with that. You know what I'm saying? That's going to become your staple. That's going to become your diet. And I think that that's what's reflecting in regards to, if we look at the body politics of hip-hop as a whole, it's sick. The people in there are sick. It's a deaf culture. And that's what we're seeing, the results of.
You know, we see these trends, we see these trends in pop culture. You know, it's attempts to be conscious, or it's attempts to be for a righteous cause. So we see this thing called fuck cancer. You know, people are dying from diabetes, cancer, these type of diseases. So a lot of brothers in hip hop, they got the fuck cancer hats and they wear the fuck cancer shirts, and for a rightful reason, because family members are dying from cancer. What I want you to talk to the family about, that the family may not be aware of, is that cancer is just the effect of a lifestyle. Certain foods you may be eating. There's cancer causing foods in your diet out here. So, and the people may say cancer causing foods, for example, processed meat, refined sugar, hydrogenated oils, French fries, things like farm salmon, all these things here, fast food, all these things here is what causes the cancer. So it's like the people are looking at the cancer, but they're not looking at what causes it. Instead of saying fuck cancer, maybe should we be saying fuck something else? Blue pill?
Again, it's a lot easier to identify cancer as a boogeyman and just deal with that, all right? Rather than dealing with the responsibility that goes along with putting you in a position where you might be able, you know what I'm saying, to be ravaged by cancer. because we live in a society that does not emphasize any level of responsibility, all right? And that responsibility that you're talking about is excluding people from consumerism. So at the same time on the track, when you got consumerism going full speed ahead, right? All of these commercials promoting these products to you, you know what I'm saying? All of this American lifestyle aspects of this is what the American diet is, the sad diet, things of that nature. Who's going to be responsible enough to go against those institutions and say, no, those foods have carcinogens in them, you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be doing that. Instead, we should be doing this. There's nobody really with enough voice like that. There's nobody with an influence like that that has been able to break away from the pack and alert people to what's going on. You feel me? I seen Left Eye do it. She was marginalized by the record industry when she was talking about Sabi. I seen when Michael Jackson got with Sabi, they told Mike, look, nigga, you'll win this case. Just get rid of this dude. You know what I'm saying? So the mystery doctor, as they referred to him, he disappears. So you're talking to somebody that grew up at the age of 5, 6, and 7 around people that were curing cancer and AIDS and anything, everything under the sun, right? So I know that the people don't have the discipline necessary to incorporate this information and do something tangible about it. So what people, especially in hip-hop, do, they're going to make a slogan, they're going to make a campaign that could be commodified and by ways of T-shirts and banners and things of that nature. So yeah, they're going to say, fuck cancer. That's cool, you know what I'm saying? But they still in them clubs smoking the storm away, and they still rolling the blunts and what have you, and they still drowning the liver and alcohol and all of the debilitating things that go along with a lifestyle that promote cancer is what our people are participating in. Nobody's talking about Fukushima. All right? Nobody's informing their people out there on the West Coast about all that radiation coming from Japan. That's cancer causing. All right? They still eating all that seafood coming out that ocean. They lining up. I was out there, I should know. So there's really not an emphasis that's being taken on diet because that's not fun. You know what I'm saying? And our people just want to be in this state of euphoria where they can eat what they want and do what they want. They don't have no discipline, and they're very reluctant to listen to anyone who has any information that they feel is going to take something away from them for them to be more responsible and ultimately, you know, continue the longevity of them being around for themselves and their prosperity, for their children. We're not thinking like that as a people. You know what I'm saying? I've yet to meet a nigga that got a 100-year plan. A 50-year plan. You feel me? So, yeah, we're going to be susceptible to all of these debilitating, you know, quote-unquote black people are the leading candidates in all of health issues in America. Every last one of them. Every last one. And yet health is not a main issue and main conversation in our community. Outside of what we would consider alternative teachers, such as your Dr. Africas or your Dr. Sabis, who in the mainstream is the voice for health in the black community. They swing the reference to Dr. Oz and Dr. Phil, but who is the mainstay in the community doing the research at all times and bringing that to the people? In the mainstream community, let's say in the Christian community, in the Muslim community, Nation of Islam, and any of that. It's non-existent. But this is the leading cause of death in our community for our people. All right? There's more rappers that are dying from health issues than gunshots. But yet the emphasis is still on the fucking East and the West Coast beef. They still talking about Biggie and Pac. You know how many rappers done died since Biggie and Pac? From health issues in their 40s? We could do a drum roll. It's a bunch of them. Nate Dogg, Jay Dilla, Big Pun, Phife, Guru, MC Breed, Pimp C. It's a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? It's continuous. So, no doubt, you got niggas that just volunteer for any and everything. Like the brother just walked by talking about K2. Like niggas is smoking oregano in the hood. You feel me? It's the same generation that grew up off of 40 ounces. Like, what are the repercussions and the ramifications of that 30 or 40 years later? That's what we're seeing. How are these men able to rebound themselves if they volunteer for such drastic assaults on their being? You know what I'm saying? On their physicology by way of participating in everything that was detrimental to their lifestyle as a people. And I know there's some metaphysical niggas out there that's like, that's what made us the mutants that we are. Well, your ass need to mutate a motherfucking gene that could cure cancer at the drop of a hat. And get your Henrietta Lacks on. And let's get up in the lab and figure out what that is so, you know, we can snatch a few billion up from all this research.
One thing that these hip-hop artists have to deal with, and not just them, something we all could relate to, especially if you're on your entrepreneurial grind, there's this overwhelming feeling, Blue Pill, that they have that there's just not enough hours in a day. And they're trying whatever they could do to stay up. And they may resort to cocaine. They may resort to Red Bull. They may take Red Bull because they need to stay up. They're trying to maximize their productivity. So it's anxiety. It's real stressful. You know, when you're trying to accomplish something and you feel there's not enough hours in a day. So I was reading an article in Fortune 500, and it said that meditation is now a $1 billion business. All types of corporations is starting to offer it to its employees, and they're noticing the benefits of meditation. So this is something that a lot of people take for granted. Something simple, something just as simple as, it seems counterproductive. You want more done, and you're telling somebody to calm down, sit down, and sit still. It seems like you need to do the opposite. You need to go as fast as possible. So could you talk to the family about why are these billion-dollar companies invested so much money into meditation classes, meditation apps, meditation seminars for the employees just to slow down in order to get more done, Blue Pill?
Right. I mean, they're obviously going off of metrics. And the metrics are showing them, the research has showed that meditation is positive for business because if a person is able to slow things down, then that person is able to magnetize what it is that they want a lot quicker as opposed to somebody going at a pace that they're not in control of. So they understand, right, that if you give the employee the necessary tools, right, to be in control, then that employee is going to get the results that any corporation is going to be looking for, right? It's orderly as opposed to it being chaotic. You know what I'm saying? And a corporation cannot gamble or bet on anything being chaotic versus something having a little bit more order to it, right? So they are invested now in the well-being of their employees because they understand that the well-being of their employees is going to deal with the continuity or the productivity of their companies. So they are approaching it with a holistic approach, all right? They're seeing the employees as more tangible people, right? Because we know there's definition of employees that speak specifically to, you know, what an employee is by definition, and that's not even a person. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they're taking more of a holistic approach and things of that nature. I mean, if you really take a look at this, like Europeans don't even want to be Europeans anymore. They want to be either East Indians, you know what I'm saying, or Native American Indians and shit like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And niggas want to be Europeans. You know what I'm saying? Europeans don't even want to be Europeans. So Europeans are now adapting these philosophies, these Eastern philosophies, all right, for productivity in these particular corporations because research has shown that they could get more out of their employee if their employee is in this health state as opposed to always being ramped up with coffee and things of that nature. You know what I mean? And rushing and you know, not necessarily getting things done in accordance with how the managerial side of things want things to get done, but ultimately crashing. So,
Do you see that impact in the hip hop community? This meditation movement?
Nah, I don't see any impact in a hip hop community by way of meditation, I see individualistically some people are adapting, right? Those that are getting into lifestyle changes and stuff like that, they might be gravitating more so towards yoga and meditation, you know, because they do look up to an individual like a Russell Simmons. He is looked at as, you know, a lifestyle guru. You know what I'm saying? Because not only was he instrumental with laying some of the groundwork for the commercialization of hip hop, but you know he touched a few million, if not a billion, and he keep the models with him. So, you know, that's something that people gravitate towards. And they're like, look, I'm going to pattern a model. If whatever, if Russ is doing it and that shit is working, let me try it out. You know what I mean? Some of them might have been influenced by their shorties to try it out, and things of that nature. So you do see artists, like I seen like Waka Flocka's vegan. You know, he might be doing some yoga and shit like that. So when they try it, it's a good look because they give it the necessary promotion. When Jay-Z went vegan, he did a 22-day challenge. That inspired a lot of people because him and Beyonce did it together. So, you know, all the Barbies and the 5-star shorties and shit like that, they was willing to try it out. They was willing to give it a test run, you know, and those are beautiful things. Alternative aspects to, you know, the dietary choices that we make in this country. So, yeah.
What advice, Blue, would you have for the youngsters out there? And not just the youngsters, because there's a lot of older people, too, are very impressionable. And they follow what they see somebody else doing. Why? Because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be a part of something, a part of a group, organization, a crew, a posse, whatever term we use in 2016. But people want to be a part of something. So there's people, a person rather do what's wrong as long as they could be around people instead of doing what's right if they're going to be alone. Loneliness is a horrible feeling to a lot of people out here. So they know what you're saying is right about, you know, how we abuse our bodies in the hip-hop community as far as the, you know, the scissor and the prescriptions and the constant alcohol and the partying late night. I mean, they all know this, but at least they get to be around somebody in what they call love. So what advice would you have to give to those people that rather do something wrong just to be in a crowd, in a group of people, and get some attention?
I mean, like you said, there's commonality in doing what everyone else is doing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to find a lot of unity and union in that. And it's very hard to explain to an individual that being an individual has its benefits as opposed to being part of the collective. If the collective is continuously with the fuck shit, but you're not seeing the results of that because you're participating. And everyone is high, everyone is drunk, everyone is in it together. You know what I'm saying? And then people might drop off here and there, but y'all don't even talk about that. You brush it off and you keep it going. Peace, God. Indeed. Yes, indeed. So I would just, you know, my recommendation to them is even though it may be worded, you know, and it might sound cliche, I know personally that, you know, it's a lot bigger than just what it is that I can suggest. It's something that an individual has to be willing to go through. You got to be willing to go through that darkness of being alone. You know what I'm saying? You have to be willing to go through the boredom of loneliness. And not too many people are qualified to volunteer and sign up for that. When I came into consciousness, I was the only one. I didn't have nobody else to talk to around me. You know what I'm saying? Damn near nobody was conscious to that particular degree where I understood that I had to make sacrifices because of the information that I was receiving. I wasn't being received, you know, with that approach. You feel me? I'm like, I'm going to stop eating this. I'm going to stop going out. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop, you know what I mean? Like, these things was just too drastic for people that continuously are participating in a very childlike mentality in society that tells you, you know what I mean? That actually, people actually believe that there's somebody that died for their sins. They feel like it's somebody that's going to scrub away all of their indiscretions and things of that nature. Even if they're not, certified card-carrying Christians, you are still part of a society that is heavily influenced by this ideology at all times, okay? So people are not willing to sacrifice themselves. People are not willing to put themselves on a cross. People are not willing to go into that fire, okay? People are scared to be burnt, and I understand that. That's normal. What we're advocating might be very abnormal in this particular instance, but in a society like that, the abnormalities are what's going to point you a lot closer to normalness, as opposed to, the blind way that we participate in this death culture today. So that would be my suggestion. You just got to find it in you to break free from the pack, and ultimately this quest is to know thyself, and you're not ever really going to know yourself until you don't take time with yourself, until you don't break away from the flock, until you don't spend a innumerable amount of time in silence. You know what I'm saying? Go up in some mountains and some trails and some hikes and all of that. Go find yourself in nature, And like I said, I know that this information or that suggestion in particular is not going to resonate with a lot of people, and it's okay. You know what I mean? You might find yourself in other situations. I'm not saying there's only one way, but you should be willing to make some sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? You should be willing. Peace, God, peace. You should. Underground Railroad. It's all good. Yes, indeed. Peace, God. Peace, God. So we should definitely be willing to make certain sacrifices. If you want to yield different results, then you have to do things differently. So if you feel that you haven't done anything different in regards to how you've been doing it, then you know that you're not really there yet. Now, different is a large category. I can't necessarily say this is what different is and that's the way they're supposed to look and that's it. It's like, nah, it's variations of it. So what are you willing to do? How does different look for you? How does different fit you? That's what you got to ask yourself. And you just got to do some things different and yield different results.
What do you think was the turning point, Blue, where being unhealthy was cool and having a big gut, people consider that you eating good, nigga, you know what I'm saying? What was the turning point from into that?
B.I.G.
Okay. Now, how do you think it will work? A lot of people, I noticed speaking with people throughout the years, how do you deal with if your mate isn't on their health tip? You love your mate, they're not on their health tip, but you are. And because I've seen a lot of people compromise their healthy lifestyle just to, stay in a relationship. What would be your advice to that?
I'm going to go with something that Brother Polite said at the debate, and that is we have to change these terms when we say as above, so below. No, it's as below, so above. It's from the microcosm to the macrocosm in this particular regard. And why I referenced that particular statement for this question is that at a microbial level, you are being compromised by your mate every time that you lay down with them. So it don't matter what lifestyle changes you think you made. You are being reintroduced to those parasites every time that you're with this particular person. You are getting back into an acidic environment every time that you're with this person. So what you're doing is for naught, because you're rewinding your clock every time that these interactions are being made. So that person's lack of discipline is dragging you down. That person's lack of discipline is affecting your field whenever you're around that person, whether you want to admit it or not. All right? So you have to break free from that particular situation. Like I said, if you want different results, you got to do things different. Going home to the same acidic environment is not doing something different. You know what I'm saying? Trying to relay this information to this particular person and they're not gravitating towards at all. You don't see no change in sight. That ain't doing nothing different. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get the same results, if not maybe even worse, because it's going to be an internal struggle with you, because your body knows you need to do something different. And this person represents your past. This person represents all of the trappings of the shit that you're trying to get away from. They're pulling you back in every time. Why are you there? Why are you there? You love this person? If you love this person, you know what I'm saying, then you need to do everything in your power to try to have some sort of breakthrough when it comes to this person understanding and realizing that they're not only compromising themselves, but they're compromising you as well. And that's not an overnight thing. That's not something that happens right away. You feel me? Like, I was in a relationship like that, and that's one of the reasons why I made Seven Heaven Sea Moss. You know? I was inspired and propelled and pushed towards coming up with something that was palatable to the taste buds of someone that wasn't into health at all. You know what I'm saying? I had to find something that was mainline and mainstreamed, you know, because this person was like, I could be however sick I am, I'm not taking none of them herbs. I had homies in the street tell me I will die first before I drink some of them bitters. You know what I'm saying? And some of them are in situations where they probably would have been better off dead, I guess. You know? But these are the decisions that they've made. Because of what? And these are people that have backgrounds where their family came from the Caribbean or their family came from the South, and their family, their nanas and all of that dealt with bitters. You know? But these niggas got up here, tasted some Pepto-Bismol, and they too good for that. You know what I'm saying? But when they had to take the Tussins, they was taking Tussins, but they can't take no bitters. Because that's some African bush shit. And you talking about they have a super aversion to that. Okay? Because these niggas is remodified American Negroes, man. All right? So that shit deals with a level of consumerism where if they haven't seen it in a commercial, if they like white folks ain't taking this, it's not good enough for me. You feel me? Give me that aspirin or what have you, you know? Nana must have got it all wrong. Her shit was too old. None of those remedies, I ain't for none of that. You understand? All of that is post-integrationalist thinking. And that's where we at. And it just got worse and worse. It just progressed to a point where now this is where we are. You got all these rappers that are still dying of these debilitating diseases that have cures to them. All right? And we live in an internet age. And these niggas don't have no information. You feel me? Real talk. Look, hold on. They be traveling the world. And the world be telling them, yo, I love Dr. Sebi from your country. They like, who? What? They going other places on the other side of the globe to find out the people that they got here that they don't know a goddamn thing about. All right? And they turn around and they dying in these European hospitals left and right.
You know, what would you say to a person there's people out there who are curious about, you know, they're in the hip hop and they're curious about this new health movement, and the first thing they might look for is, well, it's like every decision a person makes in this society, because it's so fixated with money. They want to know, well, do the vegans make money? Well, are the vegans happy? Well, are the vegans, you know? So it's like when they see a vegan still be broke and fucked up, or if a vegan or if somebody into the health style still miserable, still angry, they're like, man, what the fuck I'm gonna do that for? They still in the same boat as the pork eaters. What advice would you have to that? Should they even pay attention to that, or should each man judge for himself?
I think it's worth paying attention to, because you're making a full evaluation of what's being promoted to you as a lifestyle. So how does one evaluate a lifestyle? They want to see how you living. You know what I'm saying? And a barometer of good living is happiness. A barometer of good living is a level of attainable success that I can look at and say, well, you're doing something, right? And because of the food that you're eating or the energy that you're intaking, your output is being complemented in the world where you're getting, you know, you're getting out of it what you're putting in it. So, nigga, if you eating grass all day and you telling me the grass got X, Y, and Z, then your magnetism to the things that you want should be so immediate that I should be looking at a thing of glory every time I look at it. Because this nigga's eating red meat. You feel me? and he got bread out the wazoo. You know what I mean? He's pushing things along. His magnetism is up. He's attracting the things in the life that he wants. You feel me? And at the end of the day, that's all people is really into. Bump what you heard. They could tell you anything that they want. That's what they're really into. You know what I'm saying? Can I accommodate my desires? This is all about desire. All right? So, when you are trying to coerce someone or pull them over, right, based on what it is that you're telling them about this lifestyle change that you've undertaken, yeah, they're going to look at those things. That's the stuff that they use to evaluate. You know what I'm saying? That's the criteria. Everyone got them they got the little boxes that they got to check off. So they're going to weigh that. You know what I mean? And yes, there are miserable vegans out there. There are trifling vegans out there. So there's things that food can never cure for certain people because that shit is at the root of who they are. You know what I'm saying? That's part of their whole spiritual makeup. That's part of their psyche. They are sick. You know what I'm saying? And all the broccoli in the world is not going to cure that. They just petty individuals. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, yeah, we might get lost because we're looking at that. And, you know, a person is just going to be who they are, irregardless of whether they're eating cauliflower, broccoli, and spinach, and things of that nature. And then there are people who that is going to help because the way that they act is because of the acidic nature. The way that they act is because of the unease that these dietary choices are bringing these people. The way that they act is based on parasite infestation. So some of these people are not even themselves. They're possessed by parasites. We good. We good. All right. So I think that these are things that, you know, as quote unquote human beings, we can't avoid. You know what I mean? They're gonna observe and they're gonna make judgment calls. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. You feel me?
So I'm just scanning my mind, thinking about things that have been told to me throughout the years in the black community, in this hip-hop culture, when you try to tell somebody about health and veganism. And then that way I can ask you a question, and that way it could be like, you know, the people are asking you this and not me. So one thing I've heard often when the idea of health and veganism and, you know, healthy living is presented to people within the black community, hip-hop community, one of the first things they always say is, nigga, my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, they all ate red meat, ain't nothing happened to them, nigga. Fuck I'ma stop for? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. My grandma lived till she was 90. My mama and them ain't have no problem. And I try to explain to them that the meat that we get now is way different from the meat that they got. But I want you to elaborate on a person that will make a statement about that, about their grandmother did it, and they turned out fine, so they don't see no need to change their lifestyle.
Chances are, and don't take this the wrong way, you know, your grandmother wasn't sucking penis either. That was taboo when she was young. You feel me? Your granddaddy wasn't eating box either. You know what I'm saying? You know, he wasn't eating groceries. She wasn't taking it in the Duke Shoot. Like, these were things that they weren't doing in their lifetime. Shit changes. So when we are speaking about the dietary decisions that are being made today, we're talking about the fact that, yes, these devils got this processed meat that your granddaddy and your grandmammy, they was not eating that. They were not privy to that. They were not privy to the chemicals that are being put into these meats. They actually probably lived on a farm with those animals. They had, you know, subtle relationships with these animals and things of that nature. And if they didn't, they were going to butchers that they knew. They was going to different people's houses that they knew or other people's with farms. You know what I mean? So this is not the same meat that your grandparents were consuming. Your grandparents were not living under the same conditions in terms of the toxicity in these environments at the same time. For the people that are out there talking about what they were doing in Africa in terms of drinking blood and things of that nature, Those are not the same cows. Those are not the same goats. Those are not the same pigs here in America. You're talking about two totally different animals, pun intended. So, how can we make the comparison here about what people are doing versus what happened 100-something years ago? I don't think your granddad and your grandmammy was eating GMOs. I don't think they was eating pigs that were being fed pig slop with pig meat in it. I don't think they were eating cows that are eating cows with cows in it that got mad cow disease. I don't think they were exposed to these things. My research tells me otherwise. You feel me? So when we're looking at the dietary decisions that are being made today, what we need to keep in mind is that our people are being fed unhealthy meat. Even if you want to eat meat, that's, a personal decision. But is the meat that you're eating, is it healthy? Is the meat that you're eating, is it particularly raised in a way that's conducive to you getting, an upgrade? Anytime that you eat something, you should be getting an upgrade. There should be an energy exchange taking place. And if that energy exchange is not taking place, then you got some questions that you need to answer yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because your cells are going to start asking you these questions. And when they can't get the answers, that's when they become free radicals and you get cancer.
Usually things that motivate our people in the black community, because, a lot of us, and especially in the hip-hop culture, we function from that root chakra. So when you talk about money and sex, that's a motivating factor. So Erykah Badu, she's raw with it. She was doing an interview, and Sway was asking, I think it was Sway was telling her she smelled good, and I can't quote her verbatim, but she basically was saying that that's her, what do you call that, pheromones? Yeah, she was like, she eat pineapples and make her pussy taste better, the cranberries and all that. She got real raw with it. So that's some motivation for the sisters right there if you want your man to do something down there. And I was reading this article and it was saying how cranberry contains acid that helps break down the bad bacteria in the vagina and prevent infection. So this is something, and there's things out there for brothers that help them have a stronger erection that we not even privy to or we're not even aware of that we can be drinking. So sea moss, and I think things like cayenne, things that are hot, things that improve the circulation. So these are things that are motivating factors for our people. Every girl want a sweet smelling vagina. Any nigga want, every dude wants his, shit to be erect. He wanna be able to perform down there. You know what I'm saying? So talk to the people about that on a sex level. Maybe that might motivate them even more about how beneficial this health thing is.
Erectile dysfunction is something that spawned even Dr. Sebi to get into the genre of healing. As healers, we have people coming up to us that are in their early 30s, under 30, you know what I'm saying, almost 40, dysfunctional in the erectile department, okay? And the majority of that can largely be pointed to, again, their lifestyle, their eating decisions, the abuse that they're putting on their body. So when somebody's yin-yang twin don't work, and you give them something, and now that shit is working again, they willing to listen to whatever you got to say. You are a guru, you know what I'm saying? You God's only begotten, you feel me? And they are believers all of a sudden. So, I would just say, me in particular, all of the formulas that I formulate have some sort of orgasmic quality to them, from the water to the sea moss, shit, even the jewelry for that matter. You know what I'm saying? It's going to give you the necessary charge. It's all dealing with the electric body. So, I already knew what was going to make the people pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And that's the approach that I took. I wanted to formulate a product that spoke specifically to that. And that's what I've been able to do. And that's why it's in high demand, because of that feeling that it brings back. You know what I mean? when I go to the juice bar up the block, Jalakova, you know, all the homies is in there. They all there for Tiger Balm. You know what I'm saying? They all there for that potion that's gonna, you know, that wood tonic. You know what I'm saying? It must be a lot of cutting taking place uptown because niggas be getting 3 and 4 of them joints daily. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is what it's about down here. This is the dance. They can tell you what you want, but I'm gonna let you know this is what it's about. It's that Scorpio energy. It's that dance. It's that sex. Okay? So, you know what I mean? Like, you should be eating to put extra emphasis on those things. You should be eating to maintain a healthy body chemistry where any fluids that you're exchanging are going to be complementary to your partner. You know, you should be eating in a way that you're not compromising the body odor of these particular body parts. You feel me? You should be making it an experience. That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. Blue Pillar 44. That's on Instagram. Apparelnormal.com. That's where you can get the gear. I still don't have my website up for my CMOS. It would be ocean14corp.com, but we're working on something else. Lord44.com. All right. I'm really thinking about doing a presentation this coming April 4th. If I don't catch the 4th, I'm going to do the 22nd. Speaking about some of this health issues as well. I want to touch on that. You know what I'm saying? Because it all connects and correlates to the Law of 44 as well. KTL Empowerment at Gmail is where you can holler at us. All right, we got the Facts Initiative coming forward very, 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 very shortly. So peace, family. Stay tuned. Peace, love, and light. Thank you for your time. Peace.
Peace, family. This brother Rich from UGR, urging all my viewers and subscribers to help support the channel by donating just $1 to the UGR PayPal account. We appreciate the viewership and support, and we understand the power of $1. If you benefit in any way, shape, or form, we ask that you donate $1, whether it be monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, or yearly, so that we can build our brand to compete with the NBCs, the MTVs, and the Foxes of the world. I figure since Kanye could ask Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion, I can ask my subscribers to donate $1 so I could make the best possible content possible. The main objective of this channel is to inspire you to become the greatest version of yourself. So hopefully throughout the years of you watching this program, you have been inspired to become the greatest version of yourself. If you would like to donate, you could go to www.paypal.com and send a donation to richandmerit7@yahoo.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your program.
Anthem on the track, live from the land of snakes. With the same nigga playing your wake, wanna give your hands to shake. Bitch, we got bands to make, rubber bands to break. Guns and butter, that land on lake. Got bread, got plans to break the Brooklyn way. When Tony killed Manolo, had to look away. It's a war going on, starting to look like yay. Apparel worn is battle torn, thou shalt not kill. When diamonds is dancing, spending time in the Hamptons, building shrines in these mansions.